Hello everybody, welcome to What Culture. I'm Scott, joined by Gareth.
Hello, how are we doing?
Coming at you on a weekend because the MCU won't stop. There's all sorts of things going on, and Disney have now responded to obviously the ongoing living weird apocalyptic hell that we're in by delaying all of the main MCU Phase 4 movies. So I'm going to run these down. There's also some news on Ant-Man 3 getting a new writer, but in terms of the delays, Black Widow has been pushed back from May. It's now coming out in November 6th, 2020, so that's still making this year, which I took as like a slightly heartwarming thing in terms of like, oh, it's not going to go on that long, even though November's quite a long way away.
The end is in sight, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it'll all be over by Christmas. You know, it's fine. And The Eternals is pushed back until February 12th, 2021. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is May the 7th, 2021. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is November 5th, 2021. And Thor Love and Thunder is February 28th, 2022. Which, I mean, you know, it always seems insane predicting a couple of years worth of movies. But it seems like for the rest of 2020, the MCU's pretty much done.
Yeah, it does. It's such a frustrating thing, obviously, for an MCU fan, obviously, because you want to see these films as soon as, and we got so close to Black Widow. It was so close. But in the grand scheme of things, this sort of thing has to happen, because you can't have these mass gatherings of people. Everyone needs to be safe and everything else. So this wasn't something that went through my mind. As soon as you first heard, okay, Black Widow is going to be pushed back, for whatever reason, you just blurred out the fact that it's going to be pushed back. So obviously that means it's going to be in a different position. And then for whatever reason, I didn't think, oh, they'll just release two MCU films at the same time.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, if, I mean, obviously the MCU's whole thing is post-credit scenes and teasers and this interconnected storytelling method. Before we did the recording for this, like, I'd heard of the Eternals, I'd heard of Shang-Chi, and I've been looking up different details regarding them. But it's also that thing where they have to introduce these new characters the same way they did with the Guardians, and they need to make that stuff immaculate. And I still think it's, for me, I'm still very much in that post-Endgame. It just feels like it's done. Like, I'm just kind of, in a satisfying way, I love the MCU, and, like, you know, absolutely adored it while it was unfolding. But for me, delaying it even more it just means that girth of, like, you know, post-Endgame, everything's kind of calm, just means that it'll be an absolute, like, massive amount of time when it eventually returns.
Do you think that's a good thing, though, in a way? Because that was I felt really weird about when I watched Spider-Man. I always remember when I watched that first, obviously not straight after Endgame, but a fairly quick time after Endgame. I still felt a bit like, I'm feeling the lasting effects of this journey, this epic journey that had been paid off in the most epic but brutal and devastating. All these emotions, and then you had this little tonic of Spider-Man, but it still felt like, I need a minute. Like I watched the other day. I watched Infinity War back. I think I watched another MCU film, and it still feels a bit tender. It's still a bit like, I've not had enough time away from this to feel not comfortable, but feel that nice warm feeling watching the films again.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Same with Spidey as well. Like, Far From Home was very much, like you said, like just this sort of additional... If it was a game, it would be DLC. It felt like it was just this extra little chunk. They sort of, we've got this as well, even though the main thing's done. You know, it's like the after eight mints after the big roast course. God, I'm hungry inside. And,
you just made me hungry, literally.
And you know, so I think like it's kind of the same thing with Black Widow though, because like it's by definition a prequel. I think it's set in like a couple of different time periods, but for the most part, it's going to be, you know, it is a prequel. We know what happened to her in Endgame, where the thing happened. Because I think that it's a weird sort of thing considering how long it'll have been before it comes back, and it's like, you know, we're back, but it's very much a continuation or a little addendum for something that we've already very much put on the shelf from months ago. It's a strange way to reintroduce the MCU.
And it's unfortunate timing because they're introducing a lot of new characters as well, because it was quite nice that they were going to start with Black Widow because it's a familiar face. Obviously we know what happened, like you said, like we know what happened to her at the end of Endgame, but it felt like, okay, they're easing us back in with these nice characters. We're going to get to know it. It's very similar to what they've done in the past when they did it with I think it was it Phase 2 with Guardians. Yes. They started off with Iron Man 3 and then they brought in all these new characters, so it felt like that was going to happen. But now, because of these delays, all these new entities and Eternals and Shang-Chi, all the rest of them have all been thrown back. So again, it's this thing of, like, excitement. It's different when you've got anticipation for a sequel. Like, Black Widow is a prequel, but it's still a character that we know. It builds anticipation, like, I can't wait to see her again. Whereas when something's put off for a film that you don't know anything about the characters, you don't know whether to be excited or not about it, it doesn't really do. I don't know. I don't know if it affects it a lot or.
And I guess, like you said, like obviously they're up against the wall with it. Like, you know, it's Black Widow was something that for me was always a character they should have jumped on years ago, and they were kind of beaten to the punch in terms of doing like a female-led superhero movie by Wonder Woman, and Black Widow felt to some degree like catch up. And now with even more delays, it's like, I guess what I'm referring to when I say like, oh, you know, it's a strange way to return, is that they could maybe do better by just leading with something like the Eternals or Shang-Chi, and doing like, this is the new phase, as opposed to like, I mean, they're kind of stuck with it. They have to get like Black Widow out of the way, quote unquote, at this point. But yeah, I mean, we can get back to the sort of general state of the MCU. I kind of want to talk about Disney Plus for a bit as well, because they're not doing anything by putting the movies out on Disney Plus. But the other piece of news is that Rick and Morty writer Jeff Loveness is joining Ant-Man 3, as reported by the Hollywood Reporter. Their headline was, you know, Rick and Morty writer joins MCU, and I was like, oh my god, it's going to be Justin Roiland. No, it's Jeff Loveness, which I love his name, but I don't know who that guy is.
I mean, if he's had any input into Rick and Morty, he has had input into Rick and Morty over the years, you can guarantee a certain level of zaniness and the rest of it. So I think he'd be a good fit for Ant-Man. But it's, a bit out of left field, this one. Like, you wouldn't expect.
Makes me think, like, because if you think of the stuff that Rick and Morty excels at, it's the ridiculousness, it's the ever expanding, like, you know, it's usually Justin Roiland improvising something in a booth that a team of 20 animators have to go and make work. And so I guess if I apply that sort of general sensibility to the MCU, then in Ant-Man's case, the nearest thing that they have to something that would allow those sort of visuals is that whole molecular level thing where he shrinks all the way down and goes to the quantum realm and stuff like that. So I guess, assumedly, Ant-Man 3 is going to steer more into that territory and do more overblown stuff, and Christ knows what the hell you're going to see in the quantum realm if the guy from Rick and Morty is designing it.
I was thinking this because obviously off the back of Endgame, like, the quantum realm's been explored and utilised for time travel and the rest of it. How is it going to be used in Ant-Man going forward? Like, because now they know its capabilities, are they going to again use it for time travel? Are they just going to go, okay, that's a small fraction of what we can use it for, so let's really delve into it.
Mm-hmm. I wonder about, like, because that's their get out of jail free card. Like, that was the thing that they just asked you to buy in Endgame. It was just like, this Tony Stark has figured out time travel. He's got the little wrist bracelet thing. Don't worry about it. We've got it. And then you can move forward with that. But the vast majority of entertainment properties around the world that bring in time travel tend to mess it up. Tend to be like, well, if this is your get out of jail free card, you can bring anyone back from the dead. Death doesn't matter anymore. There's all that stuff. And they didn't really do anything in Endgame to say, I mean, other than they put the stones back, which, like, I guess might be their way of saying, well, we can't do that again. But then why'd you get Rick and Morty's guy if you're not going to do something crazy? I don't want him just writing a pedestrian script about Ant-Man in the city.
Yeah, and it's an odd one because that sort of happened off the back of Infinity War when Ant-Man and the Wasp came out. It didn't tie in because it couldn't tie in necessarily because it was happening beforehand, but they really did make a massive effort to detach that from that main story. So whether we just get at the start of Ant-Man 3 like, oh, this thing happened and completely different story, let's walk off over here. Like, they might do that, which again, it might help Ant-Man because it doesn't mean it's depending on such a big, weighty story, and Ant-Man does excel in that levity and that light-hearted off universe that it has. So I think that would be helpful for it. I'm curious to see who the villain's going to be, everything else. I'm not sure what's been announced in terms of Ant-Man 3 at this point.
Oh, not that much, but I tell you what I want. I want a Justin Roiland cameo, or I want Justin Roiland to be the villain. I would love Rick's voice as a MCU villain. I don't know how you would do him, but that might be the best thing ever if they can make that work.
I could see that. I'm just trying to think what Ant-Man villain he could fall into.
Some crazy space monster thing, and just give it like Rick's voice. But back to the general state of the MCU. I was going to talk about Disney Plus. Gareth, have you bought Disney Plus?
I had a bit of an. I don't want to like slam Disney Plus by any means, but I got the week's trial and then I had a bit of an issue for whatever reason. The Wi-Fi wouldn't work in my area for Disney Plus, so I got a 30-day free trial. So I've got quite a lot of Disney Plus.
It's weird. The Disney Plus I jumped on because I wanted the whole, like, the Simpsons collection and stuff, but I remember Googling it back when it came out, and I'll get back to the MCU forthwith. But the general sort of like commentary around Disney Plus was that, like, people don't stick with it. You sort of go like, oh my god, like I'm gonna watch all these things, and then you get it and you go, well, I've seen everything. I'm just sort of I'm paying monthly money to watch my childhood, and ultimately you want new stuff. So I kind of wonder what their sort of general attachment rate is. I kind of wonder about their, how many many hours people are banking on this stuff compared to Netflix and Prime and Hulu and Now TV and stuff. Because one of the biggest rumors was that they would just put everything on Disney Plus. But again, Black Widow, and they would just roll out the continuation of the MCU alongside, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision and stuff like that. Everything will just be on Disney Plus, and that's a direct way to address the audience. Do you think they're missing a trick by not doing that, or does it just not make sense to use Disney Plus?
I completely agree with the sentiment of when I got it and I started watching it for the first few. I went straight for Star Wars, straight for Marvel, and Simpsons and everything. And then I'm about a week or so in now, and it is that thing of you click on it and you go, oh, seen that, and it's great if you feel like you want to hit nostalgia. It's great. It genuinely does. It gives you that.
Gargoyles is very good, I will say.
Yeah, definitely. But then there's some things where I'm like, I do just want to experience something new, or just something a documentary style, or something a bit more gritty or sci-fi that isn't like space opera sci-fi. And I don't think it has that. And the original content side of things as well. The Mandalorian's fantastic. I've watched the episodes that are available in the UK now. I've been doing it by the book. I've been that guy.
I love them pretending that everyone hasn't already seen it. Like, just,
I've not. I've been that guy. I was genuinely. I was like, you know what? I'll put it off. And
what's a Baby Yoda? I don't even know. Like, where's that even coming from? But yeah, I mean, if they pivoted across and started releasing like the major movies on Disney Plus, I wonder if they can ever take that back, and how much damage that does to cinema chains if you've kind of told the public, hey, look, we don't actually need the cinemas anymore. We can just release this stuff, because obviously in the ongoing situation, there are a bunch of cinemas that are struggling and are just different governments have been able to support them. But I kind of wonder about the state of cinemas after this, how much the current situation proves that you quote unquote don't need them. But yeah, I mean, I would hope that Disney still see value in showing a big MCU movie in the cinema. I kind of don't want that to go away, even though it might be like a fun viral thing to group watch it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, if it was something like a charity stream and everyone pays all the money that goes into people buying the stream, whatever it is, goes straight to charity and everything else, yeah, I'm here for that. But I completely agree with you. If that suddenly snowballs into, we can just put these films on Disney Plus and that's fine, and we don't need the cinemas. I've worked in cinemas, I've got a lot of friends in cinemas, a lot of people whose livelihoods depend on that business, that industry, and just to strip that away just for the sake of lazy entertainment at the end of the day, like just us chilling out watching TV. It's not the same. Don't get me wrong, I love sitting in the comfort of my own home watching Endgame, watching Star Wars. I love it. But if you could give me the option of that, or going sitting in a cinema, in a packed cinema for a premiere of a film, I'm taking that one every day.
I think they know that that's like essential as well. Like that's integral to the MCU experience, the post-credit scene, the midnight showing, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, considering the general state of the MCU, it seems that they are taking the right precautions. They're pushing stuff back. But yeah, some sort of ray of hope that Black Widow is still making 2020, and we'll see how the rest of it goes. But yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Are you still psyched for the MCU? Are you enjoying this downtime in between the end of Endgame and whatever the hell comes next? And what do you think of the general release slate for next year in 2022? For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
And I have been Gareth from... Sorry, I forgot where I was. I was
Delays
mesmerised.
in the webcam. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.